I said already, it's going to be called Android Wear. And it has a huge focus on Google Now. The project is essentially a mobile version of Google Now that can be placed on your wrist. Of course, Android Wear is just a software platform for a hardware, so you're still going to have to depend on your regular Android manufacturers such as LG, Samsung, HTC, etc. To develop hardware for Android Wear. And as you can see by the video, Wear is very exciting. Nice to see that Google's hopping on board with the smartwatches. Anyway, stay tuned for more information. I will be covering Android Wear and a lot more details in the future. Stay tuned. Check out the other videos I made on the individual smartwatches, the Moto 360 and the LG G Watch, and I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Well, mobile in terms of on your wrist, or a wearable version of that, because Google Now is already on your smartphone, your tablet. It's all over the place, and a lot of people are starting to use it. Personally, I use it sometimes for the weather and stocks mostly, but just for casual viewing. I didn't really get into Google Now, but maybe with the launch of Android Wear, I'll reconsider that. Like I said before, Google's going to be partnering with different manufacturers or smartphone manufacturers. They stated a couple, HTC, LG, Motorola, and Samsung, and two of which already unveiled their Android Wear smartwatches. LG has their G Watch, and Motorola has their Moto 360 smartwatch. And you can check out my individual videos for both of those here at Plainfinite. At my channel, you'll find a video just each individually outlining those two smartwatches. Personally, I like the Moto 360 better. I think it's very interesting. The design is really unique, and that's kind of what Moto 360 has going for it. That's pretty much all I could say in terms of Android Wear. There's not too much. Google said it would release an SDK for developers, and you can expect the Android Wear to mostly, I think it was 2014 release date is when you can expect Android Wear smartwatches to start coming out. They'll also be partnering with Fossil Group and along with a whole bunch of chip makers such as Broadcom, Imagination, Intel, MediaTek, and Qualcomm. So all those manufacturers are also on board for the internal components. As you can kind of expect, there's going to be, as you can guess, there's going to be a lot of fitness-related apps, a lot of health and fitness monitoring that's going to come along with Google Android Wear. So Android Wear will be able to integrate your favorite fitness apps, assuming your favorite fitness apps actually make a more watch-friendly or Android Wear-friendly user interface. You'll be able to monitor your health and fitness. You'll get real-time speed, your distance, time information, all sorts of information as you're exercising directly in your smartwatch. So that's very interesting as well. And to top it all off, I think the most interesting part about Android Wear is at the ending of the official Google video where they said, okay, Google, open Garage or something along those lines. And I think that's very interesting, but there will have to be a lot of coordination between a lot of different services. For example, you would probably need some sort of app to go along with your garage door. So that probably means that your garage door manufacturer will have to support Android Wear or something along those lines. Or maybe you can get a custom-made app. Not too sure exactly how that's going to work. But anyways, Android. Guys, welcome to Plainfinite. Today is March 20th, 2014, and just 2 days ago, Google officially unveiled Android Wear, and that's basically Google's operating system or their software platform for wearable hardware. And I'm going to talk about a couple of companies that are already on board with it. I'm going to talk about exactly what Android Wear is, what you can expect to get from it, and pretty much give you a summary of the entire event and what Google officially announced on Tuesday. So they detailed the future of Android wearables, and like the Google officially released, there's a lot of contextual experiences. There's a lot of things that you can get notifications for, such as alerts, warnings, notifications, messages, and they have an example in the video where they showed a jellyfish warning when you arrived at some nearby beach. So that's very interesting, and you can actually control Android Wear with your voice, or you can use a simple touch gesture that will probably vary depending on the device that you have. But I think there'll be some relative similarities between the devices, just because Google wants to keep it kind of standard between all their Android Wear devices. They describe the system as information when you need it when you need it most, at a glance or in a word. That's basically the description for Android Wear. And since Google Now is one of Google's most useful services in terms of the information that it can provide, it's very interesting to see a more mobile version of that. mobile in terms of on your wrist or a wearable version of that, because Google Now is already on your smartphone, your tablet. It's all over the place, and a lot of people are starting to use it. Personally, I use it sometimes for the weather and stocks mostly, but just for casual viewing. I didn't really get into Google Now, but maybe with the launch of Android Wear, I'll reconsider that. Like I said before, Google's going to be partnering with different manufacturers or smartphone manufacturers. They stated a couple, HTC, LG, Motorola, and Samsung, and two of which already unveiled their Android Wear smartwatches.